highlight it, but can you explain about like a template?
I hadn't read that part. I'd have
Okay.
to look at it
Okay.
to see what it
All
is. I could speculate here. Let's take a look and see if we can.
I'd say if not, you can go to other questions.
Well, let's take a look and see if we can figure out what a template is. I didn't.
In like it says, like, I know it interacted with the
Oh.
procedure.
Okay.
What page was that on, huh?
339,
339?
yeah,
Okay. Yes.
like in
All
maybe
right.
like a drawing or something.
So we would. Yes. So what a template is, I can see it quickly. So.
Okay.
In modern computer science, if I say, as an example, void do it, int x, int y, that's my prototype. What are these called?
Variables?
They're called parameters.
Oh, parameters, okay.
Okay, they're called parameters. Right? If in my code I go do it, comma b, what are those called? Those are called arguments. Okay, so these are called parameters, and these are called arguments. Okay, sometimes these are called the actual parameters. Okay, so what he talks about as being templates are these placeholders.
Okay.
Okay, placeholders. When I went through most of my computer science courses, even though my degree's in electrical engineering, obviously we did have to take computer science courses. These were called parameters, these were called arguments. Okay, good. All right, excellent. All right, yes, Kristen.
Okay, I have a couple. One of them was, and it's just, you said, made me think about it when you talked about the messages. When you using semaphores and you passing messages, wouldn't passing messages affect the time? The time?
So message passing is typically slower.
Right.
Because it has to go over the network, okay? There has to be a send and receive. A semaphore is a very quick, okay, once it's done, you could just start executing code in this piece of shared memory.
Okay,
So,
with
yes.
that being said, can you say one is better than the other?
No.
Okay.
You can't say one is better than the other.
And
They're both used.
I need you to explain, what does it mean when it says user visible?
That means they can see it.
Okay, but if it's in the operating system, I know that the person that's building the operating system will see it, but the user actually that's using the computer will see it too?
No. Oh, well, if it says user visible, yes.
Okay.
That's the idea.
Okay.
So here's an example of something that's not user visible. Okay, the ability to manipulate capabilities.
Okay.
The user can't see that. Okay, they can't.
So when it say user visible, it's just basically talking about the programs that's running?
You can, yes, yes, that's a good point. They're not talking about the person that's sitting outside the terminal. Ooh, I can see inside there. They're talking about, so the user is a piece of code that's running on the operating system. That's a quote by user.
Okay.
Right.
My last question.
Yes.
It talked a lot about in the paper meta environment. Could you go
Okay.
into a little bit more details?
Maybe. Let me just see. That's sort of a loose term. Let me see if I ran across what they meant by meta environment. And I'll try to straighten out what it might mean, assuming I understand it. Okay, let's see, meta environment. Do you have a, I suppose you wrote down a page number or something, did you?
I think it was around the first, I think it's the first page around the last paragraph, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Somewhere in the metro environment. If not, Dr. Morris, I can find it and bring it back to class. I just can't see right now.
We'll chase it down. Let's see. I mean, normally, like in a database, metadata is data about data.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see.
I'll start right now where I get it from.
I'm still looking.
It might be in the second page. I'm kind of reading sleep. Talk about the drawing.
Not yet.
Dr. Morris, don't hold your class up, because I
Well,
can write it down.
Now you have me curious, so. I don't recall running across that, so.
I might got the two papers mixed. That was the first paragraph.
I don't see it.
I'm gonna write it down exactly where I got it from and bring it back to class next.
All right.
Can I ask you my last question, though?
Ask away.
I gotta read it to you first.
All right, read.
It says, segment of information residing in core page has to be dumped into drum in order to make core available. But the paper calls this a consequence. Can you explain why this is a consequence?
Yeah, it's an eviction. So I've got core memory that I need. Remember, this is a virtual memory system, right? And I've got a shared memory that everybody can see, okay? And remember the idea of mapping virtual memory to physical memory? So what they call core is physical memory.
Okay.
So suddenly there's a need to have something in that physical memory, all right?
Right.
All right? And where do they put it to? In this case, a drum or a disc, okay? And so the consequence, the result of whatever action there in the context of your question, the consequence or result of that is they had to evict a page to make room for this new page.
But that's what got me curious, because when we talked about pages, if I remember right, the page has to be updated, right? So how come?
Perhaps. Yes, so if it's a dirty page, so I've got a page in core, in memory. I've got a page in memory, all right? And if I change what's in my physical memory,